Welcome back. It is April 23rd as we record this on a Saturday, not our usual date, but nonetheless, fellas, we're back. To the usuals, Tyshawn, Jimmy, what's good, fellas? How we doing?
Best back in the country.
Good as always.
And the man on the couch, Payton, what's good, brother? Glad to have you in here.
How you doing, fellas?
Fantastic. Payton Muljo for everyone, left tackle at Northern. This past year is graduated and now looking forward to playing at the next level, trying to look at some of those opportunities. So with the draft coming up, figured it was obviously a great time to have you on and talk about all of that, the added incentive of watching the draft. You do it every year, but now this year's going to be something different.
Definitely.
So it'll be sweet, man. I'm excited to talk to you more about it. But as we get through the remainder of this pod, we'll be talking about some former GLIAC players, just like Payton, trying to get a crack at the NFL, CFL, USFL, XFL, whatever it is, professional football, and then the large scope that it is. And as we move on to that NFL conversation, guys are either getting paid or they're trying to get paid, fellas. We see that a lot right now. That's basically the time of the year that we're in. We all know it. We're going to talk about that. Denzel Ward signs the largest cornerback deal in NFL history. That was a huge one. And now we've got three big wide receivers holding out on waiting for larger deals. And, you know, one of them wants to trade now, Deebo Samuel, right? He's out of San Francisco, and that has been something that has kind of dominated all the headlines, which, you know, rightfully so, but it kind of sucks because there's just not much else going on.
And didn't he say that he wants like a traditional wide receiver?
Yeah. So, we got to break that down because he doesn't want to be taking all these extra hits as a running back. But if he is, he probably wants to be paid for it. Right. So they gotta figure out what to do there. But other than that, we've got a new way that everyone can be an NFL quarterback with the videos that I sent you guys with the NFL Pro Era VR. So, you know, controlling offenses from behind the headset. That'll be fun to talk about, and we'll finish it up with some NFL draft talk. On the USFL side of things, you know, I'm a sucker for it. We're not going to go through and break down scores and things. I think that's ridiculous and monotonous. But what we will talk about is what we saw from week one of the USFL. A pretty strong start, kind of tapered off towards the last couple games there. Not a great weekend. Easter weekend's not a great time to do that stuff. But other than that, the drama surrounding the Pittsburgh Maulers and former running back Davion Smith after he was cut for ordering pizza.
Yeah, I'd be cut yesterday if that happened, because I'm a huge pizza guy, big time. Jim Stacy snacks. I rate pizza, kind of my thing. I'd be screwed. I'd be screwed.
And before we talk more about it, it was pizza or chicken salad. And he said, respectfully, I don't eat no chicken salad.
Right.
He wasn't messing with it.
I'm carving up, baby.
That was awesome. But as always, you can watch this episode on YouTube. If you're listening to it right now, go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, you can listen pretty much anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Follow us on Twitter at D1_rejects and on Instagram. I'll quiz you. What's the Instagram handle?
Division1_rejects.
Oh, so close. So close. Division 1 rejects.
Oh, no.
It was taken. It was taken when I went to go make the account.
I hate when that happens. You got the best username.
You know what the other account was too? It
was
D1_rejects. It was like an intramural basketball team. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. It makes sense. Right. But damn it, give me the login.
That's a temporary thing. This is real business.
This is real life, man. This is real life. But like I said, Payton's joining us today. Former left tackle, man trying to pursue playing at the next level, and as I've just recently learned, an avid skincare fanatic.
Yes, I do take care of my skin.
But you were catching some heat for one of the most recent posts.
Yeah, I got a lot of flack actually. I had to send out a PSA just to let them know. I had to get all of them together in one mass snap. Put them all.
What was the product again that had you under fire there?
It was witch hazel face toner.
Yeah. I can't say I've used it, but
it works for me, you know. Everyone's skin's different. My sister's a cosmetology student, so she was always on me about being avid about my skin and hygiene and stuff like that. And, you know, it's paid off, you feel me? I get
love
compliments
it, dude.
about it, smelling good, looking fresh. So.
Nah, you said you'd posted, like, you know, when y'all are 50 and your skin is craggy and ashy.
Looking like
a
dried up raisin, you feel me? Don't come up to me talking about time passes by, you know.
Time passes you by.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. But let's talk about your pro day. You went down to Saginaw Valley about, was it a month ago now? Almost?
Yeah, March 15th. A little
over a month and a half ago. You went down with Brady, safety of ours from Northern, obviously, and you guys got the chance to be in front of NFL and some CFL teams too, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess there was 3 CFL
were there
scouts and then 18 NFL scouts.
That's a good show out. That is a really good show out for you talk about the scope of that at the Division II level. It probably doesn't get much better than that as far as exposure goes. Just talk to me about what that, I guess, just like, what was that like? And none of us have been to at least competed in a pro day. So like, talk about what that was like.
Well, it was Saginaw's first pro day ever. Like, this was the first NFL pro day they've
really
shown. So
I did not know that.
I was really proud to take part in that, and, putting on for the GLIAC and stuff like that. I've said it plenty of times before. There's a lot of skill and talent that is looked past at this level.
100%.
So I just feel like it was a really good chance for us to go out there and, display our skills and how much work we put in the past couple of years. And going down there with Brady, it was like, you got a brother with you. So it kind of made me more comfortable. It kind of eased the nerves just having Brady there. We were kind of leaning on one another the whole time. So, yeah, it was stressful leading up to it. But once I got through it, once I got there, my confidence got up. I'm there to entertain, and I feel like it's something that I'm meant to do. So
yeah, you just get going, right?
Yeah,
you get in the moment, and that's like, you lose all. That's like what, like a first hit in a football game, right? Like you get that first knock on you, and you're like rolling. You got to
get that first play going. You guys know how it is. You got to get that first play going, get the blood pumping, and then you're feeling good.
You guys go down in the same car? That's some big body. I know. Did Branch go down with you? What was that? What was that? The travel situation like?
I drove down with my friend Dom. He actually took me down on like a day's notice.
Because I just had this picture in my head of you crammed into the back seat of some like little sedan or something, and I don't know why. That cracked me up for a couple nights.
And then I'd have travel legs and stuff, be all stiff trying to do the vertical and the 40.
Exactly. You hear about stuff like that.
Mess around and pull a hamstring. You see the guys during the combine pull a hamstring. It happens every year.
Yeah.
So the travel arrangements, I was going to go down and stay, I think, like somewhere halfway, I think, Gaylord.
Okay, yeah, that's about halfway.
Yeah. And that's where Nate LaJoy was staying, and I was going to stay with him.
But
when I was thinking to myself, I didn't think it was a good idea to really sit in the car the morning of and then go drive the rest of the way to Saginaw.
That's what I'd say, yeah.
So I just needed to get straight to it. So I arranged the plans with Dom, and Dom took me down there, and then we slept in a hotel down there, the Marriott. Brady stayed in the
Shout out.
Yep, Marriott. That place is nice. But Brady stayed in the same hotel. So we just hung out the night before and was just talking about everything, loosening up and stuff like that, just getting ready for
sure,
what
preparing.
was coming ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of similar to what, we would do as a team, right? Because we didn't have days where we'd go down, play, and turn right back around, right? We'd go down, stay the night, and then wake up and play football. I don't know what you guys felt. I love that setup, that arrangement. Then you get in the bus and go back. Because you imagine, like, I don't know, like playing the game, especially if you lost the game and going back and like sitting in the hotel just sorry.
Man,
that'd be brutal. Well, I couldn't do that.
That Ty, Texas. Oh my God.
We drove to Milwaukee on a Wednesday. Flew to Texas on a Thursday. Stayed there a day. Played Saturday. Came back to the hotel after we lost. Stayed the night and woke up and flew from Texas back to Milwaukee on
Las
Sunday.
Vegas, though, too.
Oh, we had a layover in Vegas.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
For no reason at
Flew
all.
to Vegas.
Wait, that's like that's so out of the.
Flew to Vegas and then flew back to Milwaukee and then drove from Milwaukee back to Marquette all on Sunday. We didn't get back until like Monday at like 4 a.m. I did not go to class that next day.
You had to drive back from Milwaukee?
Yes.
They couldn't get you guys into like Sawyer or whatever?
They never try to get us in the Sawyer for some reason. Like, they won't fly us in the Sawyer.
Like, it's a small airport, and I get it, but like, yeah, it's a money thing. You're probably right. Yeah. Jim's throwing up the dollar signs, but that makes sense. But that blows, man.
No, yeah, I was eating the Chick-fil-A in the bed after the game, like. I damn near wanted to tear the hotel room up.
Flew all the way.
Damn near wanted to just throw the cookie in the trash, stomp on the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
The hotel was raw as hell. So we in this cold-ass hotel. We just lost.
Sorry.
With Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no Chick-fil-A up here. This is probably everybody's first Chick-fil-A since the summer. You can't even enjoy it for real. Then you wake up in the morning and you fly to Vegas? We like, what are we doing? Like, you wake up, because me, I go to sleep on a flight. I'm not sitting up playing no games, watching. I'm going to sleep. Wake up, and you get on Snap. Everybody got Vegas filters on. I'm like,
you didn't know that you were going to Vegas?
No, they did not tell us that we were flying to Vegas.
It was out of nowhere, bro.
We landed, and you see mountains. You're like, this is not Milwaukee.
And then on top of that, they didn't tell us we were going there. Then when we got there, we had to sit on the plane for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They didn't even let us off to like go grab any refreshments.
We had to sit on, like, it wasn't like Nystrom wasn't the plane would, people on the plane would not let us off.
Boy.
So you had the same, you didn't have to switch planes or anything though. Going from Vegas to Milwaukee, it was sit your ass in a plane, wait a half an hour, and we go get this thing moving.
On the airstrip, and you know me, I get to sweating quick. I'm in the airplane. Dude. We're in Vegas. It's like high 90s. You feel me? I'm in the
because it's September, so it's still hot.
Boy, I'm melting in the seat. I was embarrassed. I'm looking over. I'm glad it was my teammates around me. Because if it was some random,
some random
civilian, they would have been like, "This man's going through it. He got anxiety." Like, nah. We
get back to Milwaukee at like midnight and still got to drive to Marquette.
Then they tried to make us go to class. I'm like,
I'm not going to class. Right. Sorry, professor, I'm not coming.
That's hilarious. But Payton, you talked a little bit about LaJoy from Michigan Tech, a guy you've played against for years now. What, I didn't get to play against him, but what is something about him that makes him so tough to play against? He was a preseason All-American, a guy that's been all GLIAC many times in the past. I imagine he performed pretty well at the drills down there. Did you were able to keep up with him when he was down at Saginaw?
I got to watch his position drills, and his position drills looked smooth. And he knew that going into it. He said that this is where I make my money. Like, you feel me? Just in case I do have a lapse in the testing, the position drills got to be sound and on point. Yeah, and about the attributes that Nate has, I just think he's got a fast, quick step, like first step off the line of scrimmage, and then he's also just strong. So if he gets his hands on you and you can't get your hands inside or on him first, he can. Once he gets you going backwards, it's he's like a bowling ball. You feel me? Like a juggernaut. So
strong is an understatement. I mean, I've seen him worked out with him at an edge,
yeah, exactly.
and I met the dude. He's something else, and his motor, right? His motor is nuts.
Yeah.
It's just nonstop. And I don't. Oh man, I just unplugged my my headset there. I don't want to make the. I don't want to make the comparison to say that he is Aaron Donald, but like at our level and that kind of body type and his play style, I think that's the guy that I think of immediately that kind of resembles that. And like I said, we know there's a gap between Aaron Donald and Nate LaJoy, but that to me is someone that I think of immediately because you talk about like that quick first step. His hands are really good. He's always winning in those hand placement battles, and he's a bowling ball. Like once he gets you and he gets you on that backward step and he's figuring out your momentum, like it's over for some of these these offensive tackles.
Yeah, and I haven't really gotten that many one-on-one matchups with Nate because he plays
inside. That's right. Yeah.
So when I usually see him, he's playing like a 3 technique, and I'm maybe coming down on like a deuce block or something like that. So I got help going against him.
I'm gonna say that's definitely an advantage to your side, at least in those situations, 100%. Right? And it's designed that way.
Right.
Yeah. But otherwise, I guess just moving forward for you. We're going to try and get some film up to send out to guys, talking with your agent. What does this process look like for you moving forward? And are there any teams that you've had a little bit of interest from going into the draft and as things start to pick up here for you?
Well, I actually haven't had an agent properly push my film out.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking with agents, but I never actually signed on with one. And I actually just got an agent this week, and we're talking about signing a deal on Monday.
Gotcha.
Sign on with him and stuff like that.
Make it legit.
But, once you get that cut up done, I'm basically just going to send that to the agent, and then he's going to send it to all 32 scouts. He's pretty optimistic. He's been telling Branch, with his size and athleticism, he's probably got a spot to at least go out there and swing for broke. At least go out there and show.
I like that.
Swing for myself.
Yeah, I like that because that's, like you said, we got talent at this level, and the schools know it. You said there's 18 different teams that are represented at that pro day.
Right.
So, they know that there's some dudes at this level. There's dudes that get drafted every year. We know that from our league or from others Division II at the Division II level. But the swing for broke is good, right? Because you're not going in there with expecting anything.
Right.
Right. I think that's almost kind of a valuable place to be at, right? So to say if you were to get a shot, whether it be to compete even for a practice squad job.
Right.
Swing for broke is exactly how it goes.
Exactly. Practice squad, that gives me chance to get tape and to get moved up to the actual roster. So if I can get on the practice squad, that would work too. I'm not a first-round draft pick, so just as you said, I can't go in there expecting things to be given to me or anything like that. But I also never thought things would be given to me when I first got to Northern when I walked onto the team.
I'm going to say, it's not like you came in here very highly touted or anything. Marquette kid, too, you would think that it might be a little bit different, but
Right.
Like, I mean, you could talk about it more than I can.
Yeah, I mean, I came in here frail, like 235, 6'7", so I'm already looking slender right now, and I'm 305 pounds, you know? So imagine me 70 pounds lighter. I was like a string bean, you know? So I got thrown around a lot the first couple semesters on the team.
You look sick.
I do look sick.
You look like malnourished.
I did. Yeah, my body goes through phases. So I was really fat when I was younger. Then I stretched out.
I'm gonna say,
like,
I saw like the chubby stage. Like,
yeah, baby. My face looked like, I don't even, the Michelin Man or like
Pillsbury Doughboy.
It's just like, it looked like inflated. It's
like, you ever seen Ghostbusters with the Pillsbury Doughboy?
Oh, dude.
It was like that, but like the brown version, you feel me? So it's basically
Pillsbury Fudge Boy.
Yeah, so I got in the Northern, though, skinny, frail, and then basically just scratch and clawed my way.
Yeah. Made it work.
Basically just had to get the respect from my teammates and stuff like that, being from Marquette and stuff. We don't, not a lot of people from Marquette or the UP really play college sports.
Especially recently. Like, that is a number that used to be pretty high, and there was a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but there was some decent talent, especially in football, coming out of the UP. But, I mean, we know that's changed a lot. Like, a lot of these guys that get spots on teams, and even in our league, might not go on to be crazy players. Now, there are exceptions. Like, there are still going to be top athletes that come out of here. But I was going to say, bro, if you go through my camera roll, I got the same phase. And I didn't sprout up to 6 whatever. I sprouted to 5'9", which is where I'm at now.
You're maxed out.
Yeah, I did, bro. I'm a little vertically challenged, but I don't do that same thing, man.
I see how you be hitting people on the field. You don't need any height to be, bro. You're good the way you are.
It works out, but you were talking a little bit about, you're not a first round draft pick. Like, that's not news to you. I'm not breaking anything to you. But now, as a guy that's in this position, like I was talking about before we got started, you watch the draft every year. I mean, we all do. It's a super fun event. But now going into this year, there's a lot more incentive for you to be really paying attention to what teams take, what positions, even if you're a guy that, realistically might not get picked up. I mean, you might not hear your name called because there's a lot of guys still after that fact, the undrafted free agents and things like that get opportunities. When you're watching the draft, looking at teams who, emphasizes what positions, it's still going to be pretty nerve-wracking for you, I have to imagine.
Definitely. But nothing's as nerve-wracking as like the 8 weeks leading up to the pro day.
Yeah, really, now, I bet.
After I got done with the pro day, and then a few days later, I went from unranked to being ranked number 78 in the nation as a tackle, and then I moved down 11 spots, so now I'm at 67, which oddly enough is my playing number.
No way.
I feel like it's got to be like a good sign. Like maybe something good,
bro. Yeah,
maybe something good's gonna come out of this thing. But looking at what teams take tackles, what teams are going to be looking to build their offensive line, what teams are good with what they got on the offensive line, I'll definitely be looking at that and trying to.
And I think it's hard. Yeah, it's hard too, because I think if a lot of people, if you told them like you're playing offensive line and you start thinking like Ty's like our resident roster guy here who could just like read off every dude on every freaking team, it feels like. But when you look at like the starting group of offensive linemen, like, that's not what you want to look at, right? It's about who has depth at those positions. Because these are guys that are, in some cases, like, mid-30s. Like, these are grown men. And not that you haven't been playing against some men in this league, but you're going in there. You don't want to look at those first stringers. It's about who has depth at the certain positions. And that's kind of been something I'm sure you've been looking into, that in a lot of rosters.
Definitely. Yeah, man. It's there's a lot of thinking, late night. I just surfing the internet, looking at rosters and stuff like that. Just a lot on my mind and stuff, but not in a bad way, though. I feel like that's just showing how much excitement and anticipation I got for what's going to come next.
Yeah, and I'm excited, man. Hopefully we get to see you, put the pen to the paper here sometime in the near future. But we did have someone, boys, in the NFL that put the pen to the paper for a very handsome amount of dollars, and that would be cornerback Denzel Ward. He signed a 5-year, $100 million extension. The Browns have made Ward the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. He's only 24. That number was that was wild to me. He's coming off a Pro Bowl year. The dude's been competing at a very high level.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
What do we think about that?
Bro's 1 year older than me. 1 year older than me and just signed that contract.
That's scary. And that's for me too.
That's
like
motivation.
Watching the draft now.
Exactly, you're right.
100%. And watching the draft now, like I'll be 21 in July. Right. And like these guys getting drafted are like that's right
Man,
that's right with me. Like,
and then
not that I have aspirations.
The COVID year really skewed everything too.
Very true.
So ages are varying. There's ages, plenty of different ages,
and we still haven't really seen the effect of that on the NFL, right? Because a lot of those guys are still waiting to make that jump. That's true. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird little dynamic.
Every contract that you see will be the largest contract for said position. Like
just the way money works now.
Yeah, every player gonna reset the market. When Deebo Samuel signed his deal, he's going to sign the largest contract for any receiver in NFL history.
More than Devontae Adams? You really think so?
It all started.
Bro said.
It all started when the Texans traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals.
That's when it started?
And the Cardinals paid him, I think, $27 million a year.
I can't fact check you on that, but that sounds right.
And usually receivers sign for 20.
Right. At the time,
21.
That was good.
That would have been most. They signed him for 27.
Yeah.
So every great receiver will reset the market. Deebo Samuel gonna sign his deal and he gonna reset the market. AJ Brown and Terry McLaurin, they won't reset the market. But whenever who's a really good young receiver?
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson will reset the market.
Man, you already know
Justin Jefferson is going to get a bag.
They're going to reset the market.
So is Chase.
Lamar Jackson is going to reset the quarterback market. And right after that, Joe Burrow is going to reset the quarterback market. Like, it's just what it is. When Jair Alexander signs his deal will be bigger than Denzel Ward.
You think so?
How old is Alexander?
That's fair. How old is he?
Age might have something to do with it because like the duration of the contract would be different based on age.
He's also probably coming off a rookie contract, Ward, I'm assuming, right?
Jair Alexander's coming off. I think they came out in the same draft.
You might be right. I don't know, actually. I don't know.
I wouldn't know either.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
I know they're pretty similar in age.
But the first thing actually that I noticed looking at this, excuse me, is that where the hell are the Browns getting this money?
Bro, right?
$100 mil for this contract. You know who they just spent? What was it? $230
million guaranteed on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Guaranteed
$230 million.
I saw this comment. Somebody said they're just spawning cap space now. I'm like,
dude,
that's
like
true,
they
bro.
have
Where
dedicated
money?
They have dedicated positions. It feels like for people that can perform, like they call it like the salary cap gymnastics, which is so funny to me. But like between Ward and Watson, they have, and there's another like 30 or 40 million of other guys that they're bringing back or signing. They've spent by far the most out of any team in this year and probably close to any year. Like crazy. And I don't know if there's a direct correlation between spending money and winning games. I don't think that's usually how it works, right? I feel like some sports like baseball, I feel like sometimes there's kind of that correlation, right? Like you get a big contract for the big time players and your wins going up.
Baseball especially. You get those guys in like we said earlier, like the Pirates and the Orioles, like they have no money and they're bad teams. And you get teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox. These
big market
every year
teams.
they're competing for the World Series
teams.
because they have money. Yeah, exactly. And the same way in the NFL, you got to have money if you want to win.
No, you're right. And that was the number here was over $340 million in guaranteed money this offseason. $340 million.
The Bengals spent the most money in free agency last year, and they just went to Super Bowl.
I thought it was the Patriots.
It was the Patriots.
It was
actually.
the Patriots.
It was the
Well,
Patriots.
then they was top 5 for sure. The Bengals and the Rams.
Yeah,
about
exactly.
having money.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyshawn just said it best. Like the Bengals just spent the most money last year, and then they just end up in the Super Bowl. Of course, we couldn't really guess that Jamar Chase was about to come out
be
here,
like a top 5 receiver in the league.
Be a top 5 receiver his first year in the league.
You can definitely buy a championship now.
Right.
Really?
For sure.
I don't know.
Look at the Rams.
I think it has to happen. I think it has to happen more for it to really like. It's not a fluke. Like this is a tried and true way to do that. I think it has to happen at least a couple more times.
The Rams bought a championship.
100%, without question.
I'd argue that the Rams money had a very large factor to play in their championship run. I wouldn't go as far to say that they bought a championship because the biggest piece
traded for a championship because the Stafford.
Thank you.
Matthew Stafford is the biggest piece of that team. I mean,
exactly.
Obviously, you would say Aaron Donald too, but
Cooper Kupp too.
I think the most important aspect of the position, of a winning team is
that came off a big trade, and you could argue, like I know you probably will, you still got to pay the dude that you traded for, right? You got to, and they did. They just signed him to a nice big lucrative contract, but I don't know. It could go really either way. But 3 guys that are trying to take advantage of that. We've got AJ Brown from the Titans, Deebo Samuel from the 49ers, Scary Terry McLaurin from Not Washington football team.
The Commanders.
The Commanders. Thank you. They're all holding out on workouts with the team in order to seek out new deals. Deebo Samuel has requested a trade from the 49ers. This has all happened in the last maybe week or so. All three of these guys, worth noting, they're all drafted in 2019, all the same draft class, and they're all coming off rookie contracts. So I think that makes it more of an emphasis for them because we all know rookie contracts are not where the money is made, right? That's where teams get these stars for 3, maybe 4 years.
Develop them and then be like, all right, well, this dude's a guy. Let's pay this man.
Jair Alexander rookie contract.
Either that or he's gone, right? So you don't know. It could go either way. So this is a very interesting piece, too, is that Torrey Dandry. Do we know who that is?
He's the agent for all those receivers.
Boom.
On the spot.
He's going to get paid. They're going to get paid. He's about to get paid. Everyone's about to be eating good.
That's kind of what it sounds like, though. It's because Torrey Dandry is the agent for all of these guys, and he obviously knows how to take advantage of this current market and the state that this is in. But out of these three guys, I think it's not even really a question. Deebo Samuel is definitely head and shoulders, especially after this last year, head and shoulders above those other two guys. Now, where would you put guys like A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin on that list? Where do they stand?
Deebo Samuel is not head and shoulders above the both of them.
No, not head and shoulders. He's a little bit better, but you get a guy like
I'd say
Terry
head and
McLaurin.
shoulders.
Terry McLaurin has never had a good quarterback. I think if you give Terry McLaurin a quarterback, he's absolutely in the conversation of like a top 5, top 10 receiver.
Easily.
The only thing
Terry McLaurin is a freak.
The only thing with those two other guys is they're not like utility tools like Deebo Samuel. They're not about to.
A.J. Brown has like a handful of games where he had over like 7 targets.
Yeah, that's true.
A handful.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he wasn't really.
Deebo Samuel's not head and shoulders. He's just utilized and was in a lot better situation.
Yeah.
Like one thing I say about the whole Deebo situation, the money he's looking for in part is not justified because he has only been one of them dudes for a year.
I agree with that. I actually wanted to talk about that because I definitely agree with that. I don't think that he's had the sustained success that you see from other guys that are demanding that type of money. Right. You look at the guys who are signing the big contracts right now. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams are the two that come to mind immediately.
They've been the best in the game for the past 3, 4, or 5 years.
Exactly. Those guys are not, and not to say that Deebo is going to be a one and done because he's not. We know he's got a lot left in the tank. The dude's going to have a great career.
Or something.
Exactly. They're all in that same draft
like
class.
27.
But I think he's older than 20. Well, no, because
he's the same draft class as McLaurin and A.J. Brown.
He came out as a senior. He was a senior.
Did he?
Is he 27?
I did not know
that.
He
was a senior at South Carolina.
Fact check that.
I'm going to bet the under on 27.
That'd be a good point. Now, the one stat that was really cool about Deebo is that he's the first receiver since the 1970 merger to lead the team in rushing touchdowns.
Right.
That's wild. I didn't know. Like I obviously knew he was
the Niners have pretty banged up backfield this year.
Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell. He'd have ran for 1,000 yards if he didn't get hurt.
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, he'd have ran for 1,000 yards if he didn't get hurt.
No, he was super talented. So now having him back, it'll be interesting to see because
26.
Deebo wants
us. Close.
That's pretty
when
close.
His birthday?
Yeah.
January 16th.
That was close.
He was 20. He was 25 last season when he was playing.
So let me ask you this question: what do you think about if you took Deebo off San Fran? What would that result in, and what would it result in for Terry McLaurin and A.J. Brown if they got taken off their teams? Like,
what you mean?
Feel like
you gotta give me
San Fran would be. San Fran, they made the playoffs this year, correct?
Yeah, the NFC Championship.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even have made the playoffs, I don't think, if they didn't have Deebo on that team.
Well, this year, maybe. But that's cap though.
I think the Niners have a really good defense. They have a really good offensive line. They got George Kittle, obviously Kyle Shanahan.
They have
really
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan's a genius. He's an offensive genius.
To me, I think about that, and I'm going to agree with them because look at the game against the Packers, right? They didn't score an offensive touchdown. They didn't
score an offensive touchdown and they won the game.
Yeah, so that for me, I think is the one reason that I would go against that. I think he's the key part to their offense.
Deebo a killer for sure. He's a killer, like cold-blooded. But to say that, like, I'm not saying he don't deserve the money because I want to see everybody get paid, you know? But I can see where the 49ers are coming from. And they're really in a tough spot because now when you demand a trade, typically you're not going to play for that team anymore.
Yeah, and it's not impossible for him to come back.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting because if I'm the 49ers right now, I want to keep him around. Even their guys Shanahan had been saying, like, he wants Deebo to be around for years to come. He has said this for a while. Why wouldn't you? You know, he's not an idiot. Yeah. But now I'd be pitching to Deebo right now. You want to be a true receiver? Come back and be a true receiver. We got Elijah Mitchell coming back, and you know, not to say we're not going to need you back there, but we're not going to need you back there. You can go out and be a receiver. We'll pay you to be a receiver. I think that would be the exact pitch I'd be giving him right now.
Because we haven't seen, like, Deebo be like a dominant receiver.
Is,
We've seen
not
him be
a pure,
dominant player.
Mm-hmm.
Mostert's still in the backfield there.
He good at fantasy football.
And
is Mostert
Trey
still
Sermon,
there?
the kid from Ohio State's pretty good too. He's still at
Oh, Sermon's there. Okay.
They didn't even play him last year.
I did not even know he was
Tasha.
there.
he got hurt.
He was like a healthy scratch every week.
I think he got hurt like early in the season. He just wasn't right. Like
He got a concussion, and then after that, he was just a healthy scratch.
Must have not been 100%.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
concussions are weird. They can linger. You know what I mean? Like
like anything. I mean, you could have a sprained ankle, especially for a running back, and be out for weeks. I mean, we've all seen that.
No, he was healthy scratches.
To me,
What you
said, you know football.
What you finna ask me?
No, I said as Raheem Mostert. He's still in the backfield there.
No, he signed with the Dolphins.
he's with Miami.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
He was hurt last year though.
Yep.
Got you.
Right, because you did say they were banged up in the backfield too, and I do remember Mostert did miss.
Two more points on this. The first one is that for me, it all goes back, I think, a little more recently to the Christian Kirk contract.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I think that really just blew it open. I really believe that just blew it open. Kirk signed to Jacksonville on a 4-year, $72 million contract, and it raised expectations for everyone because I didn't know who Christian Kirk was, and I don't follow football like as far as names go. I don't know everybody's name like crazy, so it makes sense. But like,
he was the Cardinals' most productive receiver last year.
Yeah, like
Diaz
obviously,
was hurt most of the year. Yeah.
like you look and you watch film, and he's a good receiver. Like by no means, but 4 years, $72 million, good. Obviously, they thought so. Then came Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and the other wide receivers that are trying to take advantage of this market. That's where I thought it got blown up.
No, I don't agree with that though. I feel like not for the receiver market. He maybe blew it up for. He definitely raised the market for average players to get more money, but Devontae Adams wanted to reset the market. Tyreek Hill always wanted to reset the market.
Yeah.
Diggs didn't really want to reset the market, but he wanted to get
paid.
paid.
He took kind of a pay cut to be with Allen and in Buffalo still.
Like, he don't get me wrong, Christian Kirk definitely let me say this.
What do you about
Darnell Mooney's going to get paid when he's a free agent. Darnell Mooney's going to get paid.
That's a good way to put it, actually. That's a good way to put it.
Darnell Mooney would have probably got $30 million before. He's going to get 60,
he might
70,
double it.
80 million.
Yeah, there's a realistic chance that he doubles it. Now,
if he continues to play at this level,
yeah,
I'm a fan of Darnell Mooney. I think he's gonna have a really good career. So,
but
the
top
other
receivers, they always wanted to reset the market.
The other point that I want to talk about was Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, the Giants trying to trade him.
Yeah, and that's a guy that a lot of people have called not Deebo, but if Deebo were a step down version of Deebo. They kind of talk about him like being a versatile player, a guy that can go on the jet sweep, potentially go in the backfield. That could be a guy that potentially gets paid a little bit. I don't know, but then you talk about what's his remaining contract right now. He's still this past year was his first year, right? Out of Florida.
Yeah.
So
him and Jamar Chase was my favorite players in the whole draft last year.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a dog. Tony's a dog.
He's a killer.
Tyshawn's mad they're trying to trade him. Look,
no,
you got happy feet talking about him.
That's my boy.
I remember there's one play is when I really started to realize how good Kadarius Toney was. It was just playing New Orleans, I think, and I want to say he maybe broke 8 tackles and got 60 yards on this play. I saw a clip on Twitter this week. I actually might have sent it in the podcast chat on Twitter. Yeah, but I'll try to pull that video up and.
Kadarius Toney is a killer, and I pray to God he gets out of New York.
Oh yeah,
because New York's a dumpster.
He needs a better quarterback.
It is, man. It's bad. It's
not
really
even
bad.
not even a better he was
He's
Deebo
a better franchise.
He was Deebo before Deebo was Deebo.
Really?
Go look up his Florida highlights.
No,
before
that's
before
fair.
Deebo was back, Kadarius Toney was lining up at running back, getting busy. It didn't go to receiver and get even more busy, and he was returning punts and kicks like he was Deebo before Deebo.
Oh, we got the vid.
Field Yates, your boy, tweeted that one.
Field dead?
Yeah. I'm telling you that
Yeah.
when I saw that play, I'm like, all right,
Field.
there it is. That guy, I want him on my team.
That's the play that did it for you?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Because there's always one play you see and you're like, all right, this guy's really good.
I knew he was a
for
killer.
sure. But that's what I want to talk about as far as that market went. A little bit about this VR Pro era. The NFL has kind of partnered with Oculus, and they're making this what's called VR Pro era. And just the very basic gist of it is that you're going to be able to go in, run the offense, and play quarterback and throw dots in VR to
amazing.
Receivers. And this has actually been around for, I think, a couple of years, but now it's with the actual NFL branding. So you can go with the NFL teams, they got the nameplates, the colors, everything, like all the actual logos, because of the official partnership. And I think we might have to pick one up for the studio.
You're gonna be spending some cheese. You're going to be spending some cheese.
How expensive were the Oculus
That's a good question.
by itself?
I don't know. A couple $100.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe at least 300.
Like,
I
think it's like an Oculus 2 right now.
Is it the Oculus 2? That might be a little more then. That might be a little more.
I was gonna guess like in 1,000 maybe.
No. You can get a regular Oculus for like $200-$300. So the Oculus 2
Oculus
is probably
Quest
more.
2, $300.
Oh, that's not,
Look at me, man.
Look
at me, man.
I'm not surprised. I mean, it's kind of your thing, you know.
It should. Yeah, I probably should know that some of that stuff.
Bro, that's
but,
that's like stuff we've been thinking about since we were kids,
right?
Like that, some virtual reality. That'd be.
So now
I actually want to play there, but I'm just saying it'd be sweet to play.
The next edition of the studio, right there in the open part, we're gonna put. I haven't told you guys this. We're gonna put a one of those circle treadmills. You know what I'm talking about? With the rails and everything, so you'd be in the headset running on a treadmill. Nah, that'd be a lot. That would be cheese. That would be money.
I don't know where you get this.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, is he being serious? Right now?
He got big plans.
That would be electric.
He is spending his college trust fund on a studio.
Hey, whole overage check going straight.
Yeah, for real, bro. Like,
straight to the equipment.
No, I do not have the money for that. Nor really the desire. Like, I like it, but that would not be a really worthwhile investment. I just thought that was really sweet that we just touched on that. And I don't know. Especially, it'll be fun to see like a guy like Jimmy that has played quarterback for a long time and like knows kind of how that goes. Like to see how realistic they make it as far as like timing. I think timing is going to be the one thing. Like, you know, can you look off a linebacker and throw behind him in a hole in coverage? Like how detailed are they going to be with this? You shake your head. The camera missed it, but you're shaking your head over there.
Like,
why don't you think so?
Have y'all ever played like VR games?
Yeah, I haven't. No,
like for the most part, they just like really. The good ones,
NFL VR.
The good ones are good, but for the most part, like virtual reality games are like really choppy,
laggy and stuff like that.
Not laggy, but like choppy, like blocky. Like you do stuff and you know. Like I feel like you gonna get on there and you can't
like
see
you
over
a
the
hater.
line. You just gonna throw the ball and you just gonna touchdown Bills.
I don't think so. I hope it's competitive. Maybe there might be varying degrees of difficulty.
I don't know how they're gonna be able to do that. I am very interested to see them pull it off, but I don't know how. Like,
and that's
I don't know
why
how to be a good game.
And that's why people that are way smarter than us are handling this, and we are not.
That's facts.
Isn't that fantastic?
Because like Madden on the Wii was terrible.
Madden on the Wii,
horrible.
I bet you still played it though, a decent
No,
amount. You didn't.
Never.
You didn't.
Bought the game, played it, never played it again. It was horrible.
The last thing of NFL that I want to talk about was the draft talk. We talked about, from your perspective, a lot about the draft, but specifically the Lions for me, and I guess we can kind of talk about the top of the draft and what we see, because you'll notice we haven't talked much about the draft on here. I hate talking about before the draft. I hate looking at mock drafts. I hate speculating before it's like very close to actually coming to fruition. I just don't like it. I think it's very lazy news, and I don't think it's a very good topic.
And they start doing it so early.
Exactly.
Like months and months and months.
It's so crazy to me.
Before the draft.
And I'm with you. I'm with you here about how this news is kind of like lazy and like, so perfect example. A reporter is talking about some guy 600 miles across the country, never met him before, and he's saying all these things like, oh,
right?
He can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do this. It's like,
and a lot of them are assumptions.
Job, dude.
A lot of them are assumptions.
Assumptions. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny when you go back and like look at like, you know, freezing cold takes on Twitter.
Oh,
like,
those are great.
All these screenshots of these people saying like this and that. Like one in particular was like the other day, this guy was talking about how bad of a pick Jordan Poole was for the Golden State Warriors, and now he's just like lighting it up.
Right.
And this guy's saying they got Jordan Poole like mid first round, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Jordan Poole should have been an undrafted free agent. This is a whole
In his defense, that was a bad pick. Jordan Poole was bad in college
at the time.
Well, is it a bad pick now?
Hindsight is 2020.
They also tried saying Steph Curry was trash when he was coming out of Davidson. And then,
no, Steph Curry was a 6 pick when nobody said he was
trash.
But
they were saying that he was undersized and he had injury problems, and they said that his
he
career
is undersized and he still had injury problems.
Yeah, and he's one of arguably the greatest offensive threat to ever play the game of basketball.
And he just got hurt this year, injury problems, and he undersized. Like that
wasn't
a lie.
Are they up 3-0 right now?
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're dominating.
It looks like they're doing all right.
Jordan Poole was definitely a bad pick. They could have got him in the second round.
I mean, they could have, but now they have him, and now they're potentially going to win an NBA championship this year. So
we'll see if it works out for him. But back on the NBA, you got me.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I changed up sports time.
No, you're good, dude. I like talking about all of it. My mind can't handle all of it at once. Yeah. But back on the NFL side of things, I want to talk about the Lions, right? Number 2 overall. Everyone thinks right now it's going to be either Hutchinson or Thibodeau. But now I feel like the conversation has moved a little bit, right? People are talking about maybe a quarterback, like a Malik Lewis, right?
Willis.
Sorry,
Kid from Liberty,
Lewis, yeah. Malik Willis, he was a stud in college, but how does his game translate to a system like the Lions? We don't really know. That's a guy you might have to engineer your system around, right? Like his different kind of play style. There have been talks about some offensive tackles going very high up, and the Lions still obviously need to address the receiver room. That's why I don't really buy into this stuff, because nobody knows besides the people who are making the decision what's actually going to happen to me.
Right.
That's what I feel like. I personally would love to see them try and trade it back. I don't know if anyone would actually try and trade up. That's the thing, because who is at the top that is really that desirable? To me, in my opinion, like who is that for you guys? Who would somebody trade up for?
I'm an offensive tackle guy, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay it out. I mean, Evan Neal.
Yeah, kid from Bama.
Evan
He's
Neal
a
from
stud.
Bama.
Yeah.
That
Dude's
kid is
like,
a stud.
Surefire first rounder.
Yeah, for sure.
First first 5.
Yeah, I think he's in the mock drafts that we hate. I think he's in the top 5 right now. But that's my guy.
I mean, obviously, as you get closer to the actual draft, those become a little more and more accurate, you know. But then you got to take into account, like, teams can trade whenever, wherever, especially as you get into the later rounds of the draft. Shit starts to get weird, man. Starts to get
on
weird.
what you need, man.
Yeah.
This is a very position needy draft.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. There's no just surefire stud. There's no
Trevor Lawrence.
There's no Trevor Lawrence to this group. There's no like just surefire guy. Like
Agreed.
Anybody could go number 1.
Yeah.
I feel like really the deepest spot is the receiver group.
Yeah.
I would completely agree.
The quarterbacks, I'm not sold on Kenny Pickett. I watched Kenny Pickett, not sold on him.
I don't like that he wears gloves.
Malik Willis got to sit out a year.
Does he have to sit out a year? What do you mean?
He got to sit out a year because he ran air raid at Liberty.
Oh, you're talking. I thought you meant like at a violation or something.
No,
you're talking
like
about
he's
learning.
gonna have to sit for a year. He's gonna
It's like what Mahomes did.
He's gonna have
a
a Trey Lance and Mahomes.
Yeah, no, that's
first.
fair. That's fair.
Mahomes was aerated.
I like Matt
Texas
Corral.
Tech, yeah.
Matt Corral probably
Corral's
my
a
favorite
baller.
quarterback. I like Matt Corral.
He seems like the guy, if we look back, like if you took the clock back like 5-10 years, you'd look at a guy like Corral and be like, NFL pro style quarterback.
Yeah, I
right.
like Corral.
Mobile, but not gonna beat you with his legs. Kind of like taller guy, got a good build, strong arm,
got a
sits in the
rocket
pocket.
arm.
Yeah,
And
it
Sam
can take a
Howell,
hit.
wild
It can
card.
take a hit.
Sam Howell had a really good freshman year. And then I don't know.
Dropped off.
Well, we know what happened
screams
last
Mr.
time we
Trubisky
took
to
a
me.
QB from UNC.
Nah, he ain't Mr. Trubisky. He better than Trubisky. Trubisky was terrible.
We'll see, but I think
Trubisky had a good year
After-
before he came out, though. Like, we can't just sit here and just sleep on that.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett.
He said he wanted Kenny.
One good year, and now everybody love him. Carolina could take Kenny Pickett if they want to. They're going to regret it.
we'll see.
And Matt Rule won't
To
have
me,
a job.
at the first pick of the line is going to be the hardest to see what they do with that decision at number 2 overall. I think
trade.
That's exact. I was going to say the exact same
I
thing.
totally agree.
You
Now,
trade.
I think as you move back, things actually get clearer for the Lions as far as where they need to address things. Like, there's a lot of players they're looking at that address very specific needs on their team, but none of these guys really fit a number 2 overall pick. Like, you'd be wasting that pick if you went and got some of these guys I'm going to mention, right? And a couple of them are actually from Georgia. I'm repping the Dogs today. I got the shirt on. Let me see a little. We get a little 360, bro. Look at that.
Yeah. Go Dogs.
Is that Sarge on the back?
I like that. Yeah.
We got Sarge on the back of the T-shirt. But a couple guys that I loved. Is it Nakobe Dean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the linebacker. Just a stud, right?
So you trade back to like
No, that's a guy because they have another pick.
20-something.
They have another pick. They have pick number 32.
Well, he'd probably be there.
That's what I'm saying. Pick number 32 because of the Rams. That's their whole dynamic of them winning. We got their pick for the first round. I think that's a guy that'd be great to pick up in the end of the first round. A lot of people are saying that. I totally agree with that. Another Georgia guy was wide receiver. Why am I blanking?
George Pickens.
Pickens. Yeah.
He's a Dan Campbell kind of guy. I saw that tweet.
That cracked me up, and that's not the reason I say that. I think he's just a talented dude that is like he's got
an
freaking
edge,
fire
man.
to him.
Yeah.
But that's a guy to pick up later that I think would be fantastic, and it just addresses our need for a wide receiver, a guy that's going to fight, and a guy that's going to, be a Dan Campbell guy,
Exactly,
I guess.
yeah.
But
bite the
otherwise,
kneecaps.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, I mean, those two guys I saw that a lot of people have been talking about that I really like because I like watching them in college. Like, you watch a ton of SEC football and like the Georgia games. Those guys stood out. Every single possession, those guys stood out.
And then look at the combine too. Georgia went crazy at the combine.
I mean, you didn't say anything about Jordan Davis.
I think they had 5-6 linemen run under sub 5s. I think,
and one of them was
Jordan Davis.
340 running like a 4.8.
Bro.
Like, I don't know if I would run a 4.8 right now, and I'm 190 pounds.
Yeah, I can say the same thing. I don't even know. On a laser,
like
I don't know if I run
4.8 is fast.
And then he
that's pretty fast.
He broad jumped something ridiculous too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, how is he flexible? explosive and fast.
Hey, he was blessed by God, like straight up, like that's
George
real,
Pickens
like,
gonna make somebody angry.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why you say that?
like an organization,
he
or
didn't play last year, and when he played, he didn't do anything. Now, granted, he was coming off ACL surgery. I feel like he personally shouldn't have played, but I also don't think he should have came out though.
I think 3 years ago, if you would have said a guy should sit out and not play going into the draft, I think everyone and their mother would have said no, right? Because that just was not really good for business.
Mm-hmm.
But now we've seen guys do that. It's worked out.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is the most recent
he didn't
example.
play an entire season.
Micah
Yeah,
Parsons,
that was
right?
COVID
Micah
year,
Parsons. Who else? Was it the cornerback? Why am I blanking from South Carolina? I feel like
J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn. I feel like he didn't play that last year.
Yeah, no.
I want to say maybe he did. I could be thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, you cap.
Yeah, but either way, the first two examples that I gave are two recent ones that like panned out. Like these guys are both studs in their own respective positions on their own respective teams in the NFL. And I think that that motive and that I guess that kind of storyline has changed a lot. Finally, I mean we're like 45 minutes in this thing already, but I want to talk about some USFL before we kind of get going. Week 1. USFL, the opening game averaged over 3 million viewers across NBC and Fox. They had that multicast going on. Mm-hmm. Dude, like those games rivaled the NBA playoff games. Yeah, can we give a little?
To the USFL, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I
3
like
million,
that.
I'm very impressed with that.
Those are good numbers.
I'm
like
very
those
impressed.
numbers on that night rivaled the NBA playoff games numbers.
That's crazy.
Who played that night?
It was exactly the home team. It was the home team. It was the Birmingham Stallions versus the
I'm asking
Generals.
what NBA teams played that night.
Oh, I don't know.
It was probably the Miami Heat and the Hawks. Anybody trying to watch them?
It's NBA playoff basketball.
Either
Like, I
way,
don't care.
though.
I don't care
Either
who's
way.
playing. Those are two teams with with a bunch of fans.
For an opening week, that's very promising.
So the numbers did drop off from there. And the thing was that these numbers were scary close to the same numbers the XFL and the AAF had on their opening days. That could be a good or a bad sign because we know how those two leagues panned out. But if you remember, the XFL actually was doing all right. They were staying afloat. They were making some things happen. COVID came along and just absolutely sunk their ship.
But didn't Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and some other people partner together, and aren't they trying to bring it back in 20?
So that's the thing. 2023, the XFL is coming back. So not this spring, obviously, but next spring is coming back. Dwayne Johnson is more of a figurehead as far as the actual ownership. The real owner is this woman named Danny Garcia.
Okay.
And she's been like the real spokesperson of the XFL. Dwayne, I feel like, is more of a marketing guy, to be honest with
he's
you.
going to be in the bread. People love
Great
him.
for the brand.
No
yeah.
disrespect to Dwayne, but he's not. His involvement with the XFL seems to be more about like just pushing the name out, right? Yeah. And so they've actually made some partnerships with the NFL as far as like linking their football and trying to. I think they're embracing a little bit of the fact that the XFL can be almost a feeder for the NFL,
like a G League,
exactly,
like an NBA G League, but
so
for the NFL,
and I think that if the sooner they embrace that, it's going to differentiate themselves in the USFL because we'll see who can survive.
Exactly.
Right. USFL right now, they're in one host city, which is tough because then you have teams from New York and Michigan playing in Alabama, and you wonder why there's nobody in the stands. Mm-hmm. How are you going to get – it's hard enough to get someone to pull for a USFL team to begin with. It's hard to get people to buy into this type of football in the spring. And when you're rooting for a team that is from across the country, like how are you going to get people to fill the stadium? So very interesting. Definitely not ideal conditions for an opening weekend. You get Easter Sunday. Those games also got weather delayed or rescheduled altogether. They had to push a game back a day and refund a bunch of tickets. Like, it was honestly like a very rough start. Like as far as like the timing of it goes. I wonder who thought that. Who was like, yeah, let's start on Easter Sunday. Like that'll be it.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher, certainly.
Like who on Easter Sunday?
On the resurrection of Christ, you're going to start a brand new thing. A lot of people are going to be busy doing other things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe they were trying to get it to be like
like
the Thanksgiving games. Like,
right, you sit down and watch
maybe.
us.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's probably what they were aiming for, but
that shit ain't work.
Yeah.
just
It didn't fly.
It's not Thanksgiving football.
That is too funny. But as far as the one funny kind of headline that we had here was being cut for wanting a slice of pizza. Jim, our resident pizza guy, you said that's definitely a no-go. But
I'd be in trouble.
Pittsburgh Maulers have cut running back Davion Smith for, quote, disrespecting a cafeteria worker over what was apparently an argument over having pizza instead of chicken salad.
Oh, it was about it.
Oh, so he was like, he got into a verbal altercation.
That was the story. Now,
I saw this
Did y'all watch
video.
the
There's a
video?
video.
Saw the
I did
video.
see the video.
Yeah.
I did see the video, yeah.
If you have not seen that video, check it out. I mean, just Google search it. Like, it'll come up. But the video has gone viral on Twitter, and the former Michigan running back has taken to Twitter calling out the team for wrongfully cutting him. And he's, like, to the point where I think he might pursue some type of legal action or legal course. I'm not exactly sure what his plans are, but they had said in the video there was not much context because it's in that Beyond Football. It's that series that they're airing on Fox in accordance with this jumpstart of the season. And there was not much context at the beginning of this. And it had a lot of people scratching their heads. Like, they really just cut him for a slice of pizza. The Maulers then came out to say that he had broken 3 team rules in the span of 24 hours, to which Davion actually took to Twitter and basically said, that's bullshit. Like, yo, that's bullshit. Like, you guys, that's not true at all.
Y'all are lying on my name.
Exactly. That's actually exactly what he said. So, I don't know. Is it a case of, is any press good press for the USFL? Are we at that point right now?
No.
You don't think so?
This is
well, is there a such thing as bad publicity?
That's my question to you. That's my question.
Yes.
People
look at it as a joke.
Yeah.
When you hear he got cut over a slice of pizza, people will look at that and say,
unless,
it's a joke.
Like, barring the fact that in his contract it states, like, do not eat pizza. He was wrong. He was wrongfully cut. Like, if there was no legal obligation for him to not eat pizza, that was extremely unethical and unprofessional of the organization to cut him. Like, it's simple.
When you watch the video and how the coach was acting towards him, like, that is a bad look.
People were saying he was on a power trip.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Like, he kind of, like, had the power to cut someone. He kind of, like, hadn't felt that in a while and, like, needed to, you know what I mean? Like, kind of exercise that power.
I'm about to get this one off real quick.
Exactly,
here, buddy.
Exactly. And so the coach had said that, quote, any disrespect of football or members of the staff, USFL, etc., will not be tolerated. He crossed the line, so we had to deal with it. Someone's hurt feelings are a distant second to the greater good of the team. We've moved on, turned that page, and I'm happy we did it.
Over some
So he
pizza.
doubled down.
Coach doubled down. That is a power trip, and that is a bad look. When you watch the video,
I'm with you.
I know what I'm gonna go get a pizza right after this.
Right.
Like, I'm serious. Now that we're talking about it, I can't stop thinking about
Slices for
it.
Davion.
What's bros? Yeah.
Hashtag
Davion's
slices
name.
for Davion.
Get a 2-for-1 on Main Street on my way home.
Should we get that going? Hashtag post a little pic of everyone in the stew with
Maybe he'll shout
with
us
some
out or
slices.
something.
We should try that, actually. I think that'd be hilarious.
He needs justice.
Hashtag
Justice needs to be served.
You know what else needs to be served?
Pizza.
Apparently, the story goes that he was in, like, the cafeteria and they were, like, I guess chicken salad was just, I don't know how they don't have, like, choices. Like, they just get served. Like,
It's probably that dry chicken, too. Like, that chicken we're not really messing with. Like, me and Tyshawn, for sure, we're not messing with that dry chicken, bro. I don't want no chicken salad.
bro. Where's the pizza? Where's the lasagna? Where's the Alfredo?
Where's the
garlic bread?
Supposedly, it goes, like, I guess the lunch right in the video that they said that he asked if it was going to be a problem if he had chicken salad as opposed to the pizza, and Davion basically told him yes, and that's according to him, that's all he said was yes, it is going to be a problem if I have chicken salad instead of pizza.
Bro was probably pressed like
it had
this dude swole as hell. He just scared me the way he just said that. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. He's like, oh,
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, man. It's an interesting thing. Otherwise, that's all we've got for today's episode, Payton. Thank you so much for joining us, fella.
Yep.
It's been a good time. Time goes by, man. We're 55 minutes into this thing.
Bro.
Like, it's just like we get rolling here and things get moving. So thank you. Had a solid one, Ty, Jim, as always. Jim, first time on the actual
in the video.
cameras.
Yeah. It's good to be here. Yeah.
right. No, I appreciate y'all time.
You sound like Rat.
Inviting me onto the podcast and stuff.
That's
like
the point.
that. This is really cool.
Rat got that from me, bro.
Yeah. But yeah,
My bad, you sound
as
like
always,
Come on, Ty.
check it out on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify. Wherever you listen to us, drop us a rating. Little 5-star.
5 stars. I voted on Spotify.
Hey,
I voted.
there we
That was
go.
me.
Drop
Those were
it.
the one
I
voters.
like that.
Me.
I like that. I was
Yeah.
going there. But drop us a rating. Little 5-star never hurt nobody. So thank you all. Have a great weekend. Watch some USFL football. Get ready for some more NFL news. Thank you.
Shout out my granny.